Hey everybody, it's On Screen, Off Screen, where we talk about these movies and books, TV shows that really affect our lives. And thankfully, I'm with two people who affect my life every single week and every single day. I get to learn a lot from them. We got Josh and we got Lauren. They're both absolutely excellent people. And if you ever get a chance to know them, you are one lucky person. With that, let's start, Josh, with one of your topics. What do you got?
Okay, I'm glad I'm going first because I do have a statement that I have prepared with the help of AI to present. So, without further ado, um, December, the year of my regret, I write, it is with a heart burdened by reflection, weighed down by consequences, and positively arcing with the sting of my own misjudgment that I pen this solemn communique regarding my former statements about the esteemed Miss Carpenter. In recent days, I have found myself tormented, nay, afflicted, by the memory of my earlier utterances, which I now recognize as hasty, ill considered, and delivered in a state of intellectual waywardness, become unbecoming of a person of my presumed sensibilities. My remarks were, in the parlance of our time, an unmitigated blunder. Thus, I must, in full view of society, posterity, and any eyewitness perched discreetly behind laced curtains, issue a complete and irrevocable, I don't know how to say that word. I'm so sorry. Redaction. Let it be understood that I hereby retract, revoke, renounce, and utterly abandon every syllable, statement, and implied notion previously directed towards Miss Carpenter. Those statements were composed in error, and I must now cast away as one casts a soiled handkerchief into the fire, never again to offend these senses. Indeed, should I any hereby a passerby recall those firmer words, I implore them to do their civic and moral duty, to forget them with the same force and determination which one slams shut a scandalous novel deemed unfit for a polite society. I issue my deepest apologies for any disturbance my prior commentary may have afflicted upon the delicate equilibrium of the social sphere, whether it innate shock, dismay, a merely raised eyebrow accompanied with a genteel, my word. Let it be inscribed into the ledger that Miss Carpenter remains an accomplished songstress with esteemed talent, whose methodologies, once heard, linger in the mind like a mischievous spirit refusing to be exorcised. As any insinuation otherwise, this is hereby false, void, and thoroughly unbecoming. I pray this letter, composed with sincerity, drama, and flourish, and unnecessary verbosity, shall restore harmony where discord once reigned, with deepest contrition and theatrical humility. Your most repentant servant, myself. Um,
I have a question.
yes.
I think you should
When,
take a bow. That was amazing.
when's the last time you threw a soiled into
Never once in my life have I done that.
the except on this day?
Except on this
To
day,
redact.
uh, I actually composed two different versions of this letter, and with the help of Lauren, we decided on the Victorian themed one. The other one was a little bit more funny because it, I'll read a little bit. It says, I deeply apologize for any emotional, psychological, spiritual strain my comments may have caused, including but not limited to momentary confusion, eyebrow strain from excessive raising, loss of faith in my cultural judgment, mild disappointment, or sudden realization that I apparently underestimated the sheer power of Sabrina Carpenter's entire existence.
I wish I had that one because I was so confused when I was listening to that episode. And you're like, yeah, it's a print. And I was like, I wonder if I could get him to watch Taylor Swift.
So, to provide a little bit further context as to what I am redacting, it is saying that I wouldn't buy Sabrina Carpenter tickets for myself or my friend. And they raised the point that if I had won the lottery, I still wouldn't do it. And I was like, okay, fair. If I win the lottery, I will buy her Sabrina Carpenter tickets. But it goes further than that.
Oh.
Because I have been listening to Sabrina Carpenter nonstop all weeks. I haven't been listening to books.
Really?
I haven't been doing anything. Any of my normal listening time has now become Sabrina Carpenter. So, yeah, she is now my number 2 concert I would go to and actually pay for.
That's insane. That's crazy.
Not where I thought this redaction was going.
That blows my mind. Me either. At all. You should. Wow. Wow, that's crazy.
I still stand by it. A lot of her music is very inappropriate. It's not really my thing. I don't really like it. But Goodbye is such a great song. And Please, Please, Please is really good. She has a lot of really, really good ones. I have a new complaint I would also like to issue, and that is YouTube Music does not understand Sabrina Carpenter. You know when you play a song and it's like, here's something else you may like after you finish said song?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I picked a Sabrina Carpenter song, approximately how many songs until you hear Sabrina Carpenter again, do you think?
Oh, yeah, 6 or 7.
Okay.
Immediately.
Okay. I figured like 2, 3, something like that. It's like 20. It plays like 20 songs before it will play Sabrina Carpenter again. And most of the time when I play like a song, like, hey, I'm really into this song, most of the music that it suggests is pretty good. So I skip probably on average, like 4 or 5 songs. I'll skip one. This one is, I skip every single one. I'm like, no, I don't want to listen to that. No, I don't want to listen to that. That is utter garbage. Only 6 people have listened to this song before. Why are you suggesting it to me? Skip. So that is my new complaint, is YouTube Music has no idea, like, what makes Sabrina Carpenter good, because all of its suggested music for listening to Sabrina Carpenter is just crap. And I brought this complaint up with my friend, and she's like, yeah, same.
Okay.
You may think, like, Taylor Swift should come up, yeah? And
that's what I would think. That's literally
sometimes.
Okay.
But it's her garbage songs, her utter crap songs that I'm like, I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to listen to that.
That Taylor Swift garbage songs?
Yeah.
Which ones are those? Because I haven't yet.
From her new album, I listened to like 2 minutes of it or a minute of it, and I'm like, I don't want to listen to this, and I skip it. The only one that has popped up that I do listen to is Opalite. And that one is more just catchy than I actually like the lyrics of it.
I actually have a question about Opalite that I was going to ask you, since you have now read the Fourth Wing first book. Yeah. Somebody said that Taylor Swift has to be a Fourth Wing fan because that song definitely like says something about what's happening in that book. Do you agree with that?
I have no idea. If there is something about it, I didn't catch it. I have no idea.
I really just wanted to read the series just to be like, because I love Opalite. But anyway.
It's a good song. It's not my favorite of hers, but it's a fine song.
So why do you think Sabrina is grabbing you so hard? Because I'm genuinely surprised by this. I don't really like Please, Please, Please that much, but I do like some of the other songs, like the 2 that you suggested to me. I liked both of those. So I think she has good songs. But I'm shocked that it has grabbed you this hard.
I also want to tack on something there because, like, a lot of, like, her lyrics, a lot of guys think are man-hate songs.
Quite a few, yeah.
Especially her, like, music videos. She has a gag where she kills a guy every single time in her music videos. So I know that's usually a sore point for you guys when it comes up with, like, man-hate and things. So that's why I'm wondering what the heck.
So to speak towards man hate, I don't get that impression from her.
Okay.
Um, she does hate some men, and that's very apparent. Like she does the Taylor Swift thing where she writes about breakups, but never have I felt like she is just talking like all men just suck, right? She
Okay.
has the song Man Child, it's pretty popular. It's talking about men who refuse to grow up, but it's not saying all men refuse to be responsible, right? So I think that that's totally fair. Like, I think we all have irritation with those, you know, certain individuals, particularly males, who just refuse to mature in even the slightest way because they're still living at home or whatever it may be. Um, as for why it's grabbed me so much, I talked about this before. Music to me is generally just like math. It's really good math, you know, it's catchy, it's got good, you know, whatever. But when it has lyrics that are like mean something more to me, either something that I've thought before or felt before, or it puts words into something I've been trying to say, um, it does it. And in Please, Please, Please and in Goodbye, they both have done that, where they put lyrics towards something I have felt or have tried to say or wouldn't. Um, so, yeah, like that's what makes her really special and unique. Like, at least to me, I'm not saying it would be for you guys. Like I said, a lot of her music is pretty graphic and crude. Don't really love that. Um, but it would be unfair to say that all of her music is that way because it's
No,
not. And some of it is really, really good.
that's cool, Josh. Honestly, I'm happy about that. I guess I have to listen to some more Sabrina Carpenter because that is so surprising to me. Does it make you want to listen to more Taylor Swift? Because I feel like they're very similar
They're not
in my
similar
head.
at all.
You don't think so?
Like I said, they're similar enough you would expect them to pop up in like each other's. Like if I listen to Taylor
Yeah, for
Swift,
sure.
I would expect like a Sabrina Carpenter song to show up. Um,
Yeah.
and there's even a song or comment, I don't know which it is, but I have seen it
Mhm.
referenced. That's I think it's a song lyric where Taylor Swift has said, um, "You remind me of a young me," and they think that she's talking about Sabrina. Um, like they're similar enough, but I don't really like Taylor Swift as much because she hasn't done that thing for me where the lyrics actually just like jump out and catch me. And like Opalite, I think is a good song, but it's also a song that is my number one irritation with modern music, and that is just utter repetitiveness. Right? It's just like here we're gonna have the same verse and the same chorus over and over and over again. Um,
Yeah.
not all of her music is that way. Um, but like that's just what it is to me, is that what she does say doesn't really grab me personally, and sometimes she's a little bit overly repetitive, as I'm sure most artists are at times. So
Does it make you want to listen to more music that's like Sabrina Carpenter? Whether that's like the big
uh,
one I can think of right now is Olivia Rodrigo. Is that her name?
uh,
Yeah, yeah.
Olivia
I'm
I feel like
gonna
it's
Rodrigo.
very
say
similar.
no, because
Okay.
every time YouTube music suggests a song, I'm like, no, no, no. Skip, skip, skip. So yeah,
Sabrina's back on. Listen, skip.
yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah.
I'm, dude, I'm happy for you. All right. I don't know if you talked about this, Lauren. Are you a Sabrina fan?
I
No.
don't
Does this?
like the sound of her music because it's like Josh is more a lyrical person. I'm very much more of vibes and sound thing along with lyrics.
Okay.
They could be like the best lyrics ever, but I'm like, okay, change the genre and the singer, and then I'll listen to it. So that can ruin a song for me if I don't feel the vibes of it and I
Okay.
don't vibe with her type of music. And I don't like the sound of her voice,
Okay.
which come at me, I guess, but I just don't. um, yeah, and I'm like, Taylor Swift actually, I don't like a lot of her first stuff because I don't vibe with the countryness of it and her twang that she has. Um, so I was kind of hoping that she would rewrite her first album so that I could actually listen to it.
I'm genuinely surprised she hasn't done that.
Yeah. I
I don't
mean,
think she likes her first album. I do, but I don't think she likes her first album.
yeah. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of times it's vibes for me. And so, like, I really do like when music gets repetitive, because that's like very soothing for me to have like something that I'm like, okay, I know what's
Oh, that's
coming.
cool.
We can have it like repeat. So I'm kind of opposite of Josh here on music. I'm like full vibes, repeat all day.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, let's go on to our next topic. Lauren, what do you got?
What do I got? Cabin Pressure. So this is a radio show with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Okay.
I forced Josh to listen to this when we went on a camping trip because he's like, I like British humor. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have a radio show for you. So if you like British humor, this is a really good. I don't know where to find this. So if you guys want to listen to Cabin Pressure, I don't know to give it to you because my friend gave me her files of all of it on Google Drive, and they're like 30-minute episodes. Each episode, it's this private jet line that they go to a different place. Each episode, there's 26 episodes, and they go to a place that starts with the letter of the alphabet that correlates with that episode. So, like, um, yeah, Josh.
Sorry, I'm just gonna interject. It looks like it's all on YouTube.
It is
Yeah,
all.
it is.
Is
I was
it
just
now?
sitting there.
It looks like it's on YouTube. A
Because
channel
There's
called
quite a
Brody
bit of it.
Vickers looks to have posted it.
oh, perfect. Because I did look on YouTube a couple of years ago because I was wondering because they did little skits and stuff for it, and I wanted to see Benedict Cumberbatch doing these skits. Um, but it's really funny. I love the dynamic of Benedict Cumberbatch is this junior pilot, but he's like the head pilot because the other pilot is more experienced but has like enough um like reprimands on his thing that he can't be the actual pilot. So the junior pilot has more experience than the pilot, and it's like this whole power struggle the entire time on these. And it's I really like I really enjoyed listening to these with my friend Angel, who's the one who gave me these files. And I listen to these about once a year. I remember that they exist, and I'm like, yes, car ride, let's go. And so it's like, because I can kind of like, I wish I was the degenerate camp pilot. He's so funny and witty and sarcastic. And I'm like, I feel like that's what I wish I was. That's what I am in my head most of the time. But I fear that I'm more of the junior captain who's always trying to do everything by the book and like trying to please everybody and make sure that like he's crossing his T's and dotting his I's. But yeah, I really love this series, and I'm really surprised that it's not as well known. Um, but yeah, me and my friend made a whole bunch of our own merch from this because we really liked it. We had these water bottles and made stickers because there's
So cool.
one episode where they're like, okay, so um, let's pretend that you're with another pilot and you might feel a little inferior. And the guy's like, Mai Tai, because he's the one with the more experience. And he's like, yeah, so if you notice something that the pilot is doing wrong, maybe you should suggest, hey, chief, because you might be a little bit more lax on this flight. And he's like, Mai Tai. He's like, so let's run through this scenario where you don't have the altitude and you're going towards a mountain. And he's like, "Hey, Chief, I might be wrong, but I think we might run into it's so funny. So we just have on our water bottle, we have like that whole "Hey Chief, I might be wrong," but
I
and we have
love
like
that.
mountains on the water bottle. So yeah, I was really happy. I remembered that I had those on my drive this past week, and yeah, I think I've gotten through. I kind of skipped around a bit because I was showing my cousin some of them, but my favorite one is Kick Kick Tarjuak, which is in Canada, because they're
Okay.
showing them polar bears, but they're a private jet, so they're like, "How are we supposed to be showing people polar bears?" Anyway, I'll just tease that, and I think everybody should find it. It sounds like it's on YouTube, and listen to them, especially if British humor is your jam. Um, it's just, and it's like really wholesome and delightful, especially with like all of um, all of the characters, how they come together in the end. Kick Kick Tarjuak, and it's a Q. I just saw some notes getting written off to the side. But yeah, that's the Q episode. Um, but yeah, I highly suggest everybody go watch this series. It has Benedict Cumberbatch, um, John Finnemore. Why can't I think of any other name? There's like well-known actors and actresses from the BBC.
Awesome. I This sounds fantastic. Was this a high school friend? Was this a college friend who gave you these?
Um, College. We lived in the same house. There
Cool.
was like
Cool, cool,
15
cool.
of us. And I remember she actually gathered everybody in this house and she like held us all hostage one day. And she's like, "You will all listen to this." And by the end, we weren't held hostage because we enjoyed it.
That's awesome. I will absolutely check this out. I'm picky with British humor, but when it lands hard. And Benedict is just a genius. Have listened to this, Josh?
Some of it, yeah.
So what did you think?
Let's see. It was a couple of years ago. I was driving to the August camp that we do, and Lauren didn't want to listen to my country music, so we she wanted me to listen to this. For me and my memory of 2 years ago, which shall not be relied upon, it was really good at some times and only kind of pretty good some other times. I feel like there was a couple of episodes that we listened to that I was like, yeah, there was a couple little chuckles, and there were some episodes that I was laughing like the entire time. I have a
Cool.
memory, I don't know where it is, but they're stuck on a runway and they want to take off, and the junior pilot is like, let's just go. And the pilot is like, no, we got to do things by the book. But the airport itself was like, you have to pay us before you can leave. And it was a whole big like thing. That's
Cool.
a vague memory that I'm probably misremembering some details, but it
Yeah.
was just them arguing over whether or not to pay for the hostage situation or gas or fuel or whatever it was. But
Yeah, so they were paying for fuel and they didn't have they decided to overcharge them for the fuel and they're like, "No, it costs this much." And so they're like, "Well, we're just going to take off anyway," because they had already been fueled up. And they went to go take off, but they parked a fire engine in front of their vehicle. And so they're like, "Oh, well, now you have to pay for the fire engine." But then they ended up stealing they're like, "You can't take off from here." So they ended up stealing all the fuel from the fire engines that were blocking them in and drove the plane down the interstate to another airport to take off from. Because
That's
like,
awesome.
yeah, because like part of this show is like, it's this person independently owns this jet and she's just kind of like trying to make it an airline to help pay for money, but it's she's losing money in this venture, so they're always pinching pennies on things, and it's just so funny.
That sounds absolutely awesome. I'm 100% checking that out. Cool, 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 cool. let's go to my topic. I am pretty pumped. So Sun Eater book 7 came out, and I've talked about this series a lot on this channel, and I was super worried because it's the last book, right? Yes!
Great success.
It's so good. It's like stupid good. Um, I love this series. This is my favorite series of all time now, easily, without doubt. This is my favorite series. Like, Josh, you like Gladiator, right?
Yeah.
Gladiator's good. Yeah, you should read this book because he definitely took ideas from Gladiator. What about like Dune? Do you like Dune? Dune pretty good.
No.
Oh well, shoot, you're wrong. Everybody likes Dune. Dune's fantastic. What about like Uncle Iroh and Yoda? You like Uncle Iroh and Yoda?
I
like Uncle Iroh.
Yeah, both of them are great, and the old man character in this book series is just fantastic. Throughout this entire series, you know what's going to happen. The very beginning of the book, you see Hadrian, the main character, blow up a sun. That's why it's called the Sun Eater. And so you know in this book, he's going to do it. He has all the tools to do it. And so throughout the entire book, you're wondering, is it happening now? Is it happening now? When's it going to happen? And it keeps you on the edge of your seat the entire time. It is awesome. This book did a lot of good things for me. Like, this is a little bit of a spoiler, but Hadrian ends up having a daughter, and it's a pretty big story point throughout the series. And this book made me want to have kids more than anything else I've ever read, without a doubt. Their connection between the father and the daughter is beautiful. I love it. This book made me want to work harder. This book made me want to read more complex material because there's a part of the series where you have a Cielson, they're like bug creatures, and then you have these birdmen, and they're having a disagreement over the exact same situation. The Cielsons see this event as being violent, and the birdmen see it as being disobedient, and they see things completely different. And Hadrian, our main character, has to deal with two different cultures who just can't see eye to eye, and how do you guide that? It's so complex, and you understand where the cultures came from. They all have a unique history, and it's really, really well done. Hadrian ends up being a Christ analogy, but he's not called to be perfect. He's called to be a savior among men. And he knows what he has to do. He knows what he's called to do. He knows what God wants him to do. But he doesn't really want to do it. It's going to sacrifice a lot. It's not an easy thing to do. So he tries to figure out different ways to go about solving the plot. But there's only really one way. It's, do I follow this godlike figure who's called me, or do I not? It made me want to be closer to Christ. There's a part where he has a forgive them, they know not what they do moment. And in the scriptures, you don't get enough context of everything else that's going on around Christ to really understand why they don't know what they're doing. But in this book series, you've been with the people. You know how they're being influenced. You know why they don't understand. And it makes you more compassionate for the entire universe. He gets really close to the emperor, and they develop the character crazy well for a 7th book. But the emperor is the most powerful person in the entire book series. He's the most powerful person in the universe. He is a figure that controls everything. And in a lot of book series, that figure that controls everything would automatically just be evil. In this one, he's more complex. Nothing is black and white in this series. Everything is layer upon layer. And he has to connect to the emperor, and the emperor has to connect to him. Otherwise, it's not possible. So for once in his life, this man who is heavy as wears a crown to the extreme has to connect with somebody, has to become somebody's brother, or everything is going to fall apart. The entire thing, the entire goal of his lifespan is going to fall apart. I think this book is brilliant. My 2 negatives, I have 2, are I think that this is the first book where it felt like parts of it dragged a little bit. And it's because you're reading the thoughts of Hadrian. And throughout the entire book series, you're reading his thoughts as he writes it down. He's writing down the story. And he is an old man at this point. And in this book, he rambles a little bit like an old man. So it works from a story context, but it takes a little bit longer to be a part of, to get through. And then some of the side characters aren't as developed because you are following Hadrian's point of view. So things outside of Hadrian's perspective, you don't get to be quite as much of a part of. And I wish that I was more a part of those scenes. And I pushed to get those negatives. I reviewed Wind and Truth a little while ago on this channel, and I was extremely disappointed by it. And I just kept like praying. I was like, please finish a book good. Please, please, please give me a good ending. I think endings are extremely hard to write, extremely hard to put together. He's been planning this since he was 16, and he just knocked it out of the park. I love this book. I love this book. I love it. If you guys are into any of the things that I was talking about earlier, read this book. If you aren't into anything that I read earlier, read this book. If you have a pulse and you have eyes, read this book because it's so good.
I have a question going back to the wanting you to be a father. Is it like you wish you were like him? Or is it like you can't wait to have kids now? Or
there's a lot to that. Like I do want to be like him. It's a good display of what a strong man is, who's kind and just complex, and it requires a lot to be there. Like, but I also want the relationship that he has with his daughter. It is really special. There's multiple times where, because he's called to do so much, he gets glimpses of the future, but they're glimpses, and he has to figure out how to walk along the road of the glimpses that are given. He believes that he's going to die, and there are multiple different times where he says goodbye to his daughter, and he doesn't think he's going to see her again. And you're going through the trauma that's going inside of his head, but he just has so much love for this girl. The whole world is collapsing around him. He has so much weight on him, and he's doing it all for his daughter. Everything comes down to family. And I love that relationship. I love that connection. It is beautiful. In the earlier books, the girl's mother dies, and he has to learn how to let go of his daughter, how to let his daughter be an individual person while still keeping that connection, because the way he lost the mother is so traumatic, and he goes back to it in his head over and over and over again. And he has to push through all those emotional traumas over and over and over again. And I've lost family members, and I've felt I have a hard time with losing people. And that aspect really connected with me. Like, how do you be a good father? How do you make these moments matter? How do you let somebody be their own individual person but also caring about them? It was just, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful relationship.
So do you think like this relationship that you idolize between a father and daughter could be implemented in other ways?
Absolutely, for sure. It made me a couple different things. One, I can be controlling at times, and I don't want to be that. I want to let people go, and I want to let people flourish and support them. And Hadrian figures out how to do that. I want to do that with my wife. Let's be supporting, be caring, and take advantage of the moments. There's a part where he is saying his goodbye to his daughter, and it is beautiful. They both know that this is a goodbye. They both know that it's happening, and it's absolutely freaking heartbreaking. And he writes a line, I should have written it down, but he said, there's a part with the main villain where the villain traps him in a time loop where he sees his daughter die over and over and over again. And he's finally saying goodbye to his daughter, and he's like, he says a line, and he says, I've seen you die 1,000 times, but I will never see you live. Because he's going to say goodbye. It's going to be his last time seeing her. And it was just heartbreaking. All these different moments of regret where he wasn't able to connect as much as he is. Even though he had this beautiful relationship, he wants to see more. And I think that I can connect more with Josh, and I can want to see more of him and want to inspire him more and want to be more a part of him. I can do the same thing with you, Lauren. Like we had a really good conversation last week, and it was cool to get to know you better. These little moments matter. These moments where you can develop somebody and become somebody better matter. And this book helps inspire that. Man, I can't give it a 10 because of those little negative things. And I wasn't going to do ratings. Like I'm trying to move away from that. But
because of your stipulation of never giving a 10.
No, because I have those two little negatives. But genuinely, I was thinking in my head for the last half week, I was like, do I break my rule? Because this is insane.
You don't have a rule. You've broken it so many times now.
I've never broken it. I did it once but I was thinking like, do I do it without any kind of pressure? Because I kind of want to, but I don't think it's perfect.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
But it's ridiculously good. It's ridiculously good.
Like you said, you're not rating it. It's just a 10.
Everything's a 10. All things are 10s. Everything's perfect in its own way.
Somebody will love it.
I'm really, really grateful to the author. He'll probably never see this. If I ever get a chance to meet you, I will thank you. It's a special book. It's a special book.
Let's tag him.
Christopher Rocchio.
At Christopher Rocchio. Watch this.
Thank you. You created something amazing.
You changed a man's life every sentence. That was a callback from earlier before we were recording. So that made no sense to anybody else. I'm so sorry.
That's what I should do. I should go review every single paragraph. That was just so beautiful. That was so beautiful.
It can be your hyperfixation.
Oh, it is. I love it so much.
Don't worry, it is already.
It is. That's
good.
I'm not I've talked about this before, but I don't want to do as many solid books because I kind of just enjoy reading on my e-reader more. But I want to do a beautiful, like full set of this series because it's finished and it's good. It's so hard to do endings and it's good.
And now that it's finished, you can get it in bulk so that you know that the books are the same size and the same art.
Yeah, the same art. I want the kind where the package, like the cover, creates a artwork all together. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I want the pretty set. I want the expensive pretty set.
There is nothing that like gets me worse than when they change the art halfway through, and I'm like, why did you do that?
It drives me nuts.
So yeah, I used to, because I lived in like the closest, I think the closest Barnes and Noble was 4 hours away. That's wow. Like how out in the boondocks I was. And so like I would buy books as soon as I could. We would go school clothes shopping. I would go buy all of my clothes, except I would not buy all the clothes and use most of my money for books. And that was my haul for the year, is I would have to get my haul for the year. And it was usually books I'd been waiting to come out for that year. So it was like Percy Jackson, Fablehaven, stuff like that. And then I would like take them and then go home. But now I'm like, I can't do that unless it is finished. The art is beautiful and I can make it look good on my shelf. Because I will not have any more of this changing the art.
And sometimes they'll keep the front cover the same, but it's like they get lazy on the bindings. And the bindings are important. Like, yeah.
I'm with you.
I love that story, Lauren. All right, let's go to Josh's topic, which honestly, I'm reading your notes, my guy, and it makes me think that maybe I won't read this, but go ahead.
Okay, so the note he's talking about is that I said it's less smutty than the previous book.
Yeah, I wanted more. What the heck?
That was quick. That was good.
That was great.
So I'm talking about Iron Flame, which is the second Fourth Wing book. Um, the friend that recommended this to me actually thinks that you'll like this one better than the first, based on our
Really?
conversation last week about the other book. Um,
Okay.
it does get less smutty, but I think it's the right way. Conlon and I have talked
Is there a
extensively.
wrong way to get less smutty?
Yeah. Um,
What?
well, it could still be gross and crude without actually having the scenes in it.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah. But this one gets a lot closer to, it's still not quite there, but like we've talked about how like I'm okay that like sex happens and that it is in books and movies and shows and stuff, but I don't think it needs to be elaborated on. You can be like build up to it and then just fade to black and be like it happens. Um, this is that way. There's a little bit too much of the foreplay stuff, but then it just is like, and then we did it, and then we move on. And it's like, okay, great. Um, the magic system, I regret to say, it's really falling apart. A big plot point of the second book is they have to build these wards that are function to basically funnel the magic, right? So outside the wards, magic is everywhere and it's absolutely wild. So outside, you have a hard time controlling it. But because these magical wards are in place, when the heroes, our main characters, are within the borders of this magical ward, they're able to channel their magic properly.
Okay.
And another plot point about this book is the main characters are learning how to make wards out of magic. Like pull strings of magic into shapes and make wards. But nobody knows how to make the big wards. It's a big mystery. They have no idea. And I'm sitting here like, there has been 400 years since the big wards were originally built, and nobody was sitting there going like, maybe I should figure this out. Maybe I should start testing things. Maybe I should look at what they did and try and replicate it. One of the wards our main character learns how to like form is to channel magic. And I'm like, nobody thought, let's try doing that, but really, really big? Like, what are we talking about? They know how to make wards, but that one's just a mystery because it's important to the plot, and nobody has been trying to figure this out for 400 years. And it's like, not even a small thing. Like, outside these borders of these wards, thousands of people are dying. Like, it's a big plot point that, like, our main character is born and raised within the borders, and they don't actually understand that outside these borders, people trying to get inside the borders for the safety are dying. And, like, they're raised to kill those people for trying to get into the borders without actually understanding what's going on outside the borders. And so it's just like, this is insane. This is absolute insanity. It's clear that the author really didn't think the magic system all the way through. And honestly, I thought that this was kind of like a step down from the first book through like 2/3. And when I wrote these notes, that's where I was. I was like, okay, I'm like 2 hours from the end. I've pretty much figured it out. I'm not as into this book because like the whole major plot point revolves around making these wards. But gosh dang it, Rebecca Yarros really knows how to finish a book. And I was pressured into listening to the ending by said friend on my birthday. She was like, so have you finished it yet? And I was like, no, not yet. And she's like, oh, you should just do it. And I was like, okay, it's fine. I'll listen to it. I don't have anything else to do. I'm just at work anyway. It made me feel feelings, and I am a man and should not feel feelings. But I felt strong feelings because of the end of this book. It's so well written, so incredibly like heartbreaking and tragic, to be honest. Like both books have written just like heartbreaking deaths in the last little bit, and it hit so hard for me this time. I was literally in my golf cart. I put my sunglasses on so people couldn't see that I had puffy eyes, even though it was nighttime and I had no reason to be wearing sunglasses. I was like, I cannot be doing this. But I also was at a part where I was like, I can't stop listening at this part of the book. Very, very well done. That's what I gotta say about that.
Does this book have anything to do about cheap soap?
What?
What?
No.
Okay, good. Okay. There's a book I'm like trying not to read because I know it will wreck me. And if cheap soap didn't trigger anything in you, then we're good. Because I don't know what fandom it's from. But
okay, yeah, nothing to do with cheap soap. No.
Okay, good.
I'll expound a little bit more.
Yeah.
If anybody doesn't want any spoilers, skip to the next chapter because I'm going to go ahead and spoil it. Basically, in the first and second book, we have a disapproving parent who is cold and distant and whatever. And in the first book, I sent a text to my friend that was like, I know the mom is involved in all of this conspiracy somehow. I just don't know what it is. And in the second book, we figure out how she's involved, and it turns out to be in the main character's best interest. But at the very end of the book, the mom sacrifices herself so that the main character can live. Literally, like, main character will die or mom will die. That is what is happening here. And she sacrifices herself, and her last words to her daughter are along the lines of, don't quote me on this, it's not exact, but it's along the lines of, you are more than everything I ever dreamed you could be. And coming from a place with a neglectful parent and a feeling of unimportance and unapproval and disappointment, to have a parental figure say something like that to a main character who has been like pretty upset about how neglectful and, all those kind of problems, it just hit me so hard. And I was like, and she's dying, and she's the mom, and I love my mom. It's so sad. And I'm just sitting there like, I can't feel feelings. I'm a man. Put my sunglasses on because I can't stop feeling these feelings. And has a relationship with her siblings where one of her siblings both of her siblings are still upset with the mom and, don't have very nice things to say. And like, they're all handling the mom's death so differently at the end of this book too. It's incredible. The way it's written is incredible. I don't think it's going to hit for absolutely everybody. But like, for me personally, the ending of this book makes it better than the first. I think the whole of the book, the first one's better. But the first book made me feel a little feeling. And as a man, I can feel a little feeling. But this one made me feel so many feelings. I was like, I can't start the next book for like 3 days. And I keep being like, how does it feel to make a man cry on his birthday to my friend? Because that's what she did. And so it hit heavy for me. I'm so excited for book 3. I have already started it. They are starting to figure things out in terms of the world building and magic system. They are making it better in this one already, which is a good sign. Yeah, I do think you'd like the series, Conlon.
It's a big question. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you call your mom after?
No, I sent her a text though.
Good.
I can't speak on the phone as a man when I'm feeling feelings. What if somebody could hear that I'm feeling feelings?
Well, then the world would heal.
No, it would be tragic. It would be bad.
No, internet, don't take that to heart. Men can feel. This is
in the privacy of their own homes, men. They can feel. Yes.
Yes. Locked behind 2 doors.
I feel like I need to like
Soundproof room.
I need like a Dr. Seuss book that's like you can cry in a box in a house with a fox. Like, the green eggs and ham, but men can cry.
But just blast some really, really heavy metal music and be like, I'm not feeling anything.
It literally just like it opened things up. So I was watching like Hallmark and stuff this weekend to compensate, and like I would start feeling feelings again. I'm like, no, I wouldn't be upset about this normally, but no, stupid book. Gotta close those doors, lock them. Man.
Glad you got your feelings.
Me too,
I'm
my
not.
guy.
Feelings are bad.
No, it's good.
It's good.
Not good.
It sucks, but it's good.
I'll start reading this soon. I'm just gonna borrow my friend's copy and actually like physically read it. Because I listened to a little segment, and maybe it was just a bad segment on Audible, but I don't really like the narrator all that much.
I think the narrator's fine. Like, it's not the best. It's not Dungeon Crawler Carl. But I have listened to far worse narrators.
Yeah, maybe it was just a bad little segment. I don't know. Okay, let's go to our last topic. Josh, you recommended this one. Go ahead, pick this one out. Take one forward.
Okay, so the topic that I requested we share is called That Christmas. It is a Netflix animated movie. It's really, really good. I love the messaging. I love the wholeness of it. I love the acceptance of it. Because of said previous book, there is a moment in this that made me feel feelings again. Not quite as strongly, but like medium high feelings is how I would say it. It's just wholesome, happy, good times animation movie everybody should watch. I think it's really good.
All right. Lauren, are you more positive or negative? Because I would like to end on a positive note.
I am so positive.
Okay, I'll go first. I'll go next. I actually like a lot of this movie, genuinely, but the beginning of the movie, I don't like at all. So when I was a kid, my dad wouldn't let us do Santa Claus because Santa Claus took away from Christ. It's a very common thing in conservative religious households. And
I'll disagree with that, but okay.
I thought it was common. I don't really know. It was common in my house that Santa brought about the spirit of like just get stuff instead of what Christ is all about, which is like giving and caring and charity and all that kind of things. And it became more about Christ more about Santa than it became about Christ. And in this movie starts off with one of our main characters, and she thinks the Christ story isn't woke enough. And so she makes a woke Christ with like the three wise women and an abortion joke about Christ, which I did not like at all. And I'm supposed to root for this character throughout the rest of the story, which the rest of the story, she actually is good. Genuinely, she is good. But I'm introduced to her and I'm like, you made an abortion joke about Christ. I'm sorry. I just like, I can't get behind you. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't. And so you have the rest of the movie that I actually think is quite good. Genuinely, it's very wholesome. It's very enjoyable. But that first scene is I found it so unnecessary and so distasteful that it literally ruined my experience with the entire movie. It was not, I don't know, unfortunately, because the rest of the movie is sweet. She takes care of her family. The parents are stuck in the snow and they're just trying to survive, make sure their kids are okay. They care about their kids. It's cool to see the parents' view versus the kids' view. I think it's a really, really good aspect of the movie. But I can't root for this girl. I just can't. Anyway, Lauren, take it away and make it all happy again.
Make it all happy. I don't know if I'm going to make it happy.
Okay.
I really like Danny's character. I could relate a lot to Danny. So Danny's character is his parents are did his parents go through a divorce, or like his dad's not in the picture? Um
Yeah, his
and
dad ran away with like a 22-year-old or something.
yeah,
Which
so go ahead.
I was gonna say is really, really weird. It's like I liked the father son or the not the father, the mother son relationship, but when she just like casually puts, yeah, and your dad ran away with a 22-year-old mistress, I'm like, that is a weird thing to just randomly bring up with your son. But okay,
Yes, but I think it's real.
okay,
Um,
okay,
that would happen
Does
because
happen.
like a lot of times when a parent is like blindsided like that, and then they just have like their kids with them, they who shouldn't, but it happens a lot of times where like the kids become the therapists.
okay.
And so that's where I like felt very kindred with Danny actually. And then like him being like excited to do all these Christmas things with his mom. She's like, and like you have to understand, like I understand it from both sides, and that's why I was like, oh, it's so good, and I hate it, but I love it, but I get it, because like the mom has to go to work, like she's like, sorry, I have to, and she's like trying to like make things work with what she has, and the kid's like, well, I want Christmas. Like, of course you do, kid, you deserve Christmas, but things suck, and I'm sorry you have to learn that lesson. But then him like going out and going to that his neighbor, and I love that relationship with his neighbor, like them, like once again it's a hard thing to deal with because the neighbor is basically telling him to grow up and like look at what your mom has to do, which also sucks. And I don't know if that's the right thing or not. Like, yes, you should be um because like this is just something I've always had a hard time with growing up younger, is people like when I would go and complain to somebody, they're like, "Oh, well, you have to view it from their side." And I'm like, "You don't think I haven't viewed it from their side? I just wanted somebody to view it from my side for once. Like I wanted somebody to like back it up with me, but I can't do it with my mom because I already thought of her on her side of things, and I don't want her to know that I feel bad about these things. So that's why I'm coming to you about this, and I need you to just tell me that this sucks so I can move on with my life. Anyway, so that's why I like
Somebody
really,
to empathize
yeah.
and give a
Um,
crap.
yeah, and so like that's why I mean I get the message of that, and I like Danny. Um because like but yeah, it's just really hard because like all the time I just like think I'm like I just wish I could protect the kids like as much as you can. Like I hate when in movies they're like, well, kid, you gotta grow up and realize that they're struggling too, and I'm like, you know what, if you can make the kid not realize that everything is struggling for as long as you can, I think that's fine. I don't think that you need to throw harsh reality at them. I mean, it doesn't mean that you need to like not tell them what's going on, but you can still make things fun with what you have. Um, anyway, that was a soapbox I had and got on.
If I can
um,
just interject right there, just to play a little bit of defense, I agree with most of what you're saying. I just think that there's a time and a place, right? For you, it's very frustrating because you're like, I've already looked at the other side and I just need to feel heard. But
hmm,
for Danny, he hasn't looked at the other side. He's refusing to. So I think in that situation, having the wake up call of like, hey, she's a mom without her kid, like that sucks too. So with
I
the
agree.
situation that we're presented with, I actually think that it's a good thing. But again, that's just
I,
me. I agree with, listening to, making them feel heard, and having fun is a good thing too. Um,
yeah, I think I took it from my experience and I was like being like, ah! Because that is one of my pet peeves. And people are like, well, did you think it from their perspective? I'm like, yeah, I thought of all of their perspectives and how they could have taken it in every single avenue to the point that like I was crying for their behalf but now I need to process this by me. So yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I get what you're saying, that he hadn't done that and kind of needed you need some empathy for
Right.
others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is like time and a place. There is a time and a place where you're like, okay, she probably should have just like had a meal with the kid and made him not feel so lonely. And I think in this situation, having the like, hey, it sucks for your mom probably a little bit more than you, having that wake up call is also good.
Yeah. Yeah. I also really liked the twins in this movie, where they have like the goody two shoes twin and then the twin that's like a terror. But then you like find that the one twin that's a terror was actually like being nice terror, which that was the one plot hole that I found, because I was like, well, if she was being nice this whole time, they both would have got guitars.
I think the discussion there, or the thought process there, is intent versus action because her actions aren't good, but her intent is.
Yeah. But like in the end, Santa was like, "Oh, you were good" or whatever. But I still think it was a little bit of a plot hole that they didn't catch her intent until everybody else realized it. Um, but I do like the whole thing of her like being like, "Yes, I got what I wanted," and then realizing that they're like, "Oh no, she got the wrong twin." I love that part in the movie, and she like switches everything over to her twin, who she feels deserved it more. So I did like it, even though
I
I feel like it was a plot hole.
I did wonder, like, did they both want the same thing, or did you give the stuff that you wanted to your twin sister who didn't actually want that stuff?
They both wanted a guitar.
They both wanted a
There's a
guitar.
whole stage right before it
Okay.
where they're both wanting a guitar. Again,
Okay. Okay. I can
I'm
live
gonna
with
play a
that.
little bit of defense on that, because like Santa was having a discussion about whether or not to give it to her, and I think that discussion in his own mind was intent versus action, and he originally decided on action was more important than the intent.
Hmm.
And then when her
I think
actions
Santa's
were
wrong.
just pure, he was like, now we have action and intent. We
It's
switch.
present.
I personally agree, actions speak louder than words, and your actions are more important, but your intent is still important. It's just not as important than what you actually do.
I disagree. I think intent is way more um valuable. Like, I mean, unless it's like something of somebody being like, well, I meant to do this thing and they just didn't, and they're like, it's the thought that count. No, that's bull. But like when you do something for somebody, but like it might not be the right thing, but they thought it was the right thing and they expected the outcome to be like, like, let's pretend I'm like, I love spiders. And so I'm like, Conlon, here's a spider. I really enjoy these. And I really think you would too. Except you absolutely hate spiders. And I didn't know,
That'd be
and let's
awful.
pretend I didn't know that. The intent was that I just wanted to share something with you. And I think that matters more than me actually handing you a spider. If that makes sense.
It does, but in that scenario, there's an unknown factor, right? Does the twin ever not know that what she's doing is hurting somebody else?
Hmm.
Because in every single thing she's doing, she's tormenting the owner of the dog. She's, being rude to the teacher. Like, there's a knowledge there, right? Like, we could go
Yeah,
through every
so
single scenario. There are times that intent is more important.
I feel then that intent, as well as she's trying to be kind, she's also intending, if she does know she's causing them trouble, her intent is to also. So then I still feel like that's in the intent side of the court versus the action side of the court, if that makes sense.
I think it's more complicated. I think the turkey example is actually a really good spot in the movie because, like, her intent is to free the turkeys because it matters so much to her sister. but also she thinks the one guy is a slime ball, so her intent also could be, I don't like that guy, so let's screw that guy over. And I think there's intent is multi-layered there.
Yeah.
And is that necessarily a bad thing? I don't really know. He's supposed to be a bad guy, so is it okay to do bad things to bad guys? I don't really think so, but you can make that argument. And then it becomes more multi-layered.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying is that the intent was both of those things. So it should be
Yeah.
judged on the intent of both those things instead of she released turkeys and that's what matters most is she released the turkeys. No, I think what matters most was that she knew she would be hurting the dude and she knew she would also be helping her sister. So that's what matters. That's what I'm saying.
Reading a story, I agree with what you're saying, or we're watching the movie because we can judge what the intent is. But in a real world scenario, it's really hard to judge what intent actually is. You get to judge what the action is because that is actually visible. Because yeah,
I'm not saying that like I judge by intent. I probably do judge by action, but I do think that intent matters more. Even if I don't know what that intent is, right? Like it would be more of a moral thing for me of being like, I know my intentions, so I'm good with things, and I try to make my actions mirror what my intents are, but people can flip anything they want. And so to make the action look however they want it to look. So that's why I think intent matters. And I mean, yeah, you will judge people by their actions, unless you can like talk to them and they tell you the truth about their intentions and things. But I still stand by intent matters most.
Cool. This was a lot deeper than I thought this was going to get, to be completely honest with this movie. I'm glad Josh suggested it. Next week, we're going to watch The Sound of Music. I've never seen it. I'm really excited. It's been on my list for a really long time. We appreciate you all. I hope that you continue to make every day matter, every single day count. Invest in the people that you care about and keep going forward. Thanks, guys. See ya. Bye.